The premise of Holotype is, who cares? It's a fun worker placement cube pusher that's great about dinosaurs. That's all you really need to know. Well, welcome to Dinosaur Worker Placement Wingspan. This is a review of Holotype, and that's what it is. Much better. Basically, you play a team of paleontologists, and your goal is to discover the best dinosaurs, because some dinosaurs, well, they're worth more dinosaur points than other dinosaurs. And how are you going to do this? Well, you're going to uncover fossils of all these different dinosaurs, these different dinosaur types from different ages, the Jurassic, the Triassic, the whatever the other one is. It doesn't matter at all. The Cryptozoic, no, it's a different company. The Cretaceous, that's what it is. And you're going to use these cubes along with your research cubes to publish findings about those dinosaurs. Because, as we all know, if you just get fossils from certain areas and you cram them together, you're going to make a dinosaur. And if you can justify it in front of your peers, then it becomes an official dinosaur. That's the theme of the game. The theme of the game, this is one of those games where, for me, the theme only enhances it if you're interested in it. This is a glorious cube pusher when you want to just sit, have some worker placement, and push some cubes around. That's what this game is. Basically, depending upon the number of players, you're going to have one of these boards. And on these boards, there are 5 different locations. So the goal of the game is you're going to be gathering a bunch of these dinosaur cards into your hand, and each dinosaur card requires a certain color of cube plus a certain amount of research cubes in order to be published. You are then going to have to publish these, and you'll get points for them at the end of the game. In addition, how are you going to go about publishing these dinosaurs and getting the materials necessary for these dinosaurs? Well, it is all thanks to these 5 worker placement spots that we're going to go through right now. Up here, we have the field expeditions. If you put a person in the field expeditions, you get some fossils. That's great. You roll the dice, you get the fossils, the different colored cubes. Perfect. Over at the specimen lab, well, that's where you get your dinosaurs. You draw some dinosaur cards, you say, hey, this dinosaur looks like the best dinosaur out of any of them, and you put it in your hand, you discard the rest. Down here is the university library where you can study up and get some research cubes. Up in the top is where you can use all of those things to publish your findings and play a dinosaur, putting it into existence. And then over in the museum collections is a place that I rarely go to because I'm foolish and I like pushing my luck, but where you can use any excess resource cubes that you've gotten, you can turn them into other things. So if you have a whole bunch of Cretaceous cubes and you really need Jurassic cubes, well, you can exchange them at a specific exchange ratio. That's a basic breakdown of the 5 spots, but where this game is very exciting and shines supremely is that you have variable workers. So everybody has a paleontologist character and start with an intern character, a shorter character. And so when you place either of these characters on one of these spots, they can do better things. And so the question is, 1, where do you want to use your workers? And 2, where do you want to place your great workers to get the bonuses that they entail? When you're searching for fossils, the paleontologist lets you draw 2 cards and gives you the choice of which dice to roll to get fossils. So if you're specializing in one specific type of dinosaur, that's a great place to use this paleontologist. A great place to use the paleontologist is over to get more specimens because you can draw more cards and find better things. It's only the paleontologist and the grad student, who we'll talk about in a second, that are allowed to go publish papers because your foolish little interns, they don't even know how to read and write yet. They can't publish a paper that will be to the envy of all of their peers. No, pathetic. No, it's the paleontologist who can publish those papers that the interns certainly didn't just write on their behalf. Or you can send your paleontologist to get more research cubes or a better exchange rate or the ability to exchange multiple things down in the museum. Basically, it's just better. In addition, any worker that is taller or the same height as another worker can kick that worker out of the space and take the space for their own. So it's a very free-form game of placing workers, booting your workers out, getting your workers back, and reusing them. And it doesn't happen too frequently where you have to take an action, a full action, to just take back your people. And that's a cool thing to do because it's also something you'll be mindful of because you don't want to waste that action. You want to keep your action cycling because you only get one research cube by taking your people back. And that therefore keeps you aware of thinking about, okay, where's my opponent going to go next? I think they want to go there next, so I'm going to put my big person there. But then they seeing that might not boot you out, right? And try to extend that and extend their turns and put themselves in a spot where you can boot them back to their home area. So I think that's really interesting. In addition, once you have unlocked 3 dinosaurs, once you've published 3 different specimens, then you get an additional grad student to come work for you who basically operates as a paleontologist. The paleontologists and grad students, they work the same, but again, is kind of in that middle height. So can boot out the interns, and fellow grad students can never boot out a paleontologist from where they are working. That's it. That's the game. Other than this one little extra thing is that on this time tracker, you can see this time tracker here for 4 players. There are certain spots on the board, noticeably these little stars, because whenever a star is stepped on, everybody gets to upgrade their workers in a specific way. There are a number of different upgrades. They help you get more research cubes. They help you get more additional options. They basically help you specialize in one aspect of the game. And this is a really fun customization that you don't have to purchase. Often you have to purchase customization. It's just a timed customization where you can choose, okay, I'm kind of going down this strategy, or I need a little bit more help in this area. I'm going to choose this bonus upgrade. If this game sounds exciting to you after that description, it probably will be, and you should go get it right now. I've really, really enjoyed this game. Way back when it was funding on crowdfunding countdown, I called this as my pick of the week. I said, this is my favorite of the week, and there were a lot of really large campaigns happening that week, and I said, no, there's going to be something really elegant about just this simple worker placement cube pusher. I refer to it as Dinosaur worker placement Wingspan, and I still kind of stand by that. Just like in Wingspan, it doesn't really matter what the birds are, and here it doesn't really matter what the dinosaurs are. What matters is that you have the food to trigger them. And in this instance, the dinosaurs don't give you additional abilities, although they do contribute to public goals that you can also pursue and get points for. It might be, hey, have 6 herbivores on the board, and if you have 6 herbivores in your own pen, you don't have to pay money for it or pay research for it. But if there's just 6 herbivores on the table, you can then pay research to claim that objective and get points. It's also a great way of handling objectives. But it's just easy in the way that Wingspan wants to pretend it's easier. People, real hardcore gamers say, yeah, Wingspan's easy. Wingspan's the gateway game. No, this here is the gateway game that you want to play instead of Wingspan. Because it's just simple. It's not overwhelming. The 5 spaces are very easy to understand. Well, 4 spaces are very easy to understand. The 5th one is a little bit more complicated, but it's not that complicated, really. It's just having a market where you can trade resources or trade your excess for additional research, basically. I often haven't gone there in games because I've been more concerned about being efficient in other ways, and it feels like a little bit less efficient, but it's great to have if you need it and it's come in clutch for specific scenarios. But yeah, I've really, really enjoyed my plays of this game. It plays up to 5 players. I've only played it at the 2 to 3 player area. Honestly, I'll probably bring it to a game night tomorrow and play it at 4 players, but I had some extra time tonight, and I know the 4-player experience is not going to change my opinion of it. In fact, it will probably only deepen it, and I'll write in the comments, oh yeah, just as good as 4 players, and that's all I really need to add to this sort of conversation. The core loop of the game is fun. Place a person, get some stuff, or spend that stuff to get these cards. Things that are worth more points are going to be more expensive to get and harder to get. I like the push your luck nature of the field expeditions, of deciding if you're going to put that little intern there and take whatever you can get, or if you're going to waste your bigger person and put them there to get more stuff, but then it'll take you a little bit more time to publish a paper. It just all really works. I'm so happy that this game plays pretty much exactly like I was expecting it to play. And it was really generous. It's nice. The designers, they said, hey, we saw people, take note of this at Crowdfunding Countdown. We want to send you a copy to review. And I said, absolutely, because it looked really good. And I'm just really happy that these expectations have been met. The best way for me to describe this game is that it's just relaxing. Sometimes you don't want something that's overly complex. And I don't think this is complex. I play this with one of my friends who's likes board games, but wouldn't consider himself like a board gamer. And he just loved it. I mean, he spent the whole game saying, oh no, Chris has won. Chris has won. There's no way we can come back from all those research things that Chris did. He's got 35 points over there. And then he only lost by 2 points. But even still, right after, he was saying, oh, when can we play that game again? Like, that was so enjoyable. And the fact that this can hit at that level is great. It's super relaxing if you just want a worker placement cube pusher. Sometimes it's just fun to say, like, yeah, I'm going to get some purple cubes. I'm going to spend the purple cubes. Like Lords of Waterdeep, the theme really doesn't matter. Although when I was playing with Zach, he said he was really excited by some of the little facts. There are facts, like in Wingspan, on all the cards about dinosaurs, about who founded them or like where they were first found. There's a little map that kind of shows you exactly where in North America they were found. This is Mesozoic North America, so I assume later on down the road there could be different elements to it. But I think what this game has going for it is its simplicity, its ease of play, the fact that you can pull it out, teach it very quickly, get it to the table, and it provides a satisfying efficiency experience that's just really good and one that I've really, really enjoyed playing. And I don't really have any negatives for. The only negatives that I could really think of might be these milestones. The milestones, these are the ones that you just get to add to your area to upgrade your level. I'm holding here recall. Every time you recall your people, you get +1 research. So it helps you get more research. This one is here like a little storage area. So you can hold more cubes than your maximum and you can go on more field expeditions. I feel myself gravitating towards the same ones pretty consistently, so it doesn't necessarily offer me that level of customization that you might be hoping for. You're not going to get that in this game. They're just like tiny little bumps. Everything here that is done is kind of done on, I want to say, like a minuscule level, which could be a negative to you if you love your complex games, but I think that's to its credit in that they're just like little flavors, it's just like little tastes and flavors to develop and enhance and enrich the experience. And I think without them, it would feel a bit stale. And with too much more, it would become overly complex and it wouldn't be as accessible and as relaxing a cube pusher. But for me, it's just really relaxing. It's also not punishing because even if you get your person bumped away, you want that. You want people to bump you out. But if they don't bump you out, that's okay. You can always take your people back and you can bump people out. You're never limited by the places on the board. You're never going to be blocked out of anything because a paleontologist can always kick out an existing paleontologist. And so I think that makes for a really friendly game while still keeping that sense of competition. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's available at some online retailers now. Maybe I'll find them. I saw it was available online. And I saw it was available in places that, if you buy enough, it'll pay for the shipping. So you get yourself a decent deal. If you're in the market for another worker placement, you like the worker placement genre, you want that cube pusher relaxing game, this is one I would highly recommend to check out. Everybody who I've played this with has enjoyed it. There was one group who was playing it at Dice Tower West, because I was running around Dice Tower West, and anytime somebody, because they were at Dice Tower West, and I was like, hey, go check out Holotype, it's so fun. I kept on talking about it because I'd just gotten my copy. That was about a couple months ago, and I'd been playing it a bit. And so there was one group of 3 who said, I feel like it dragged a little bit at 3, and I said, oh no, and then I played it at 3, and I didn't think it dragged at 3, so I think it's just whatever you're expecting. For me, it doesn't overstay its welcome. I guess another negative could be that the loop is going to be the same-ish, but then you have the added element of those public objective cards that you're going to be fighting over to get those extra points. So I didn't mind that it felt, the same. The choices that you have are simplistic, but I think it's how you operate within the confines that will create a really fun experience. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on Holotype, Mesozoic North America. Really fun. My final rating would be a seal of distinction from me. A lovely game. Seal of distinction kind of represents that like 9 out of 10 area, which is where this sits in. I might start using more numbers in my reviews. I don't know. 4.5 out of 5. Maybe I'll use a 5-point scale. Zach has a 3-point scale, which I'm starting to think isn't all that ludicrous. And in a sense, that's kind of my scale. It's either approve, really good, distinction, or not good. And I'm probably not going to play it again, right? So for me, this one I think is really good. I've enjoyed it a lot. It's going nowhere on my shelf. And if you like worker placement, check it out. Hopefully that was helpful. If you're still here, hit the subscribe button. Please do. Seriously, like, it helps me out a lot. Costs you nothing. Makes me feel validated and seen in this world. And I just really appreciate it. Drop in the comments if you played this before, if you liked it, if you didn't. As always, I like hearing varied opinions as well, but if you didn't, well, you're wrong. Anyway, my name's Chris George. I do not have a catchphrase, but this Tenontosaurus, I thought it said Torontosaurus. I was like, oh, didn't know there was a Torontosaurus. Wait, where was it located? Found everywhere, basically everywhere. Everywhere but Toronto. That's what the little image says on the ground. This little Torontosaurus has got to film some B-roll. Oh, one little thing is they also sent me this expansion. It's the Pterosaur mini expansion. I've already incorporated it into the deck because all it is just a few extra specimen cards that give you more of a focus on research, which is kind of cool. And then you actually have that additional milestone. So you get 7 milestones where you do get the recall milestone, which is a fun one to play with and almost makes you want people not to bump you out because you want to recall them more and chain your research together. So I thought that one was really cool. It's something like $5. By all means, it's not an essentialist expansion, and if you wanted to play with the recall thing, you could just say, hey, I'm using this one as recall, and you know the ability. But it's the type of expansion that I like, where you can just throw the cards in and they add a little bit difference of how the cubes work. More white cubes instead of the colored cubes. So there you go. Pretty good too.